That would be a cool intro.
Go.
Hey, middle-aged gamers, welcome back to today's podcast. We are a little bit tired. This is more of a YouTube video show these days. So lots going on. You might have seen Star Wars Outlaws trailers, and a lot of early impressions have dropped today or yesterday, depending where you live. You might have seen things related to the Olympics and special skins and stuff on different games. We're talking about lots of that, movies, games, TV shows, all of it tied into the fabric that is gaming. And Adam's got an interesting story that many of us might have read in the last week or so. Adam, tell us what you're talking about.
Yeah, so if you are a fan of Bioshock, just a couple weeks ago, we talked about the, what's it called? Horizon Zero Dawn TV show and how it was canceled and how we're never going to be seeing that. Well, apparently Bioshock movie was in the works as well, and it's not canceled, but it is getting its budget cut. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll be getting quite the big thing that we were getting before. Now, I will say, for me, I don't think Bioshock necessarily needs as big of a budget as, say, I keep wanting to say Stellar Blade, Horizon Forbidden West or Horizon Zero Dawn, because, I mean, most of it's probably close-up shots. They're mostly people. You maybe have a few splicers. They're kind of weird, but you could do a lot of practical effects with that. I think pretty much most of their budget would be on big set pieces, whereas something like Horizon Forbidden or West or Zero Dawn would be based on, the machines themselves, which are a huge part of it. You will have some big daddies, obviously, but I think a budget cut on this one isn't quite the damning situation that it would be for another franchise. However, they did say that the reason the budget was cut was because the movie, when it was being planned, was originally done with an old regime or the old group at the studio. And now, those people are out. There's a new group in, and those people in control, they said, you know what? We think you're going to be spending too much money on this movie, so we're going to cut the budget. So this new group, the new leadership, cut the budget. And as such, they are going to be working on a much smaller version of the movie. So they said that what it's going to be now is it's going to be a little more of a personal point of view as opposed to this grander, big epic. So, rather than following kind of the story of Rapture and this whole, the whole city and all that, it's going to be focused more on, how does this impact one individual person? What's going on in their life? And yeah, by doing that, I think you probably could cut the budget quite a bit because you're not going to have to focus so much on, the big action and the big daddies and all that. You can kind of show more for one person's perspective where they're probably not seeing those bigger things quite as often. So I think it could still work. The screenwriter is Michael Green, who was the screenwriter for Logan and Blue Eye Samurai. So that's something to look forward to. Both of those were done really, really well. And the director is Francis Lawrence, who did I Am Legend and what was that one? Hunger Games Catching Fire. I have not seen Hunger Games Catching Fire. I have seen I Am Legend. Wasn't super impressed, but that's probably a bit of a bias on my opinion because I prefer the original with Vincent Van Price. Just Vincent Price. But that's just a personal opinion of mine. So yeah, it's probably going to take place in Rapture. I mean, I suppose it could take place in a different location, such as Bioshock Infinite, but pretty sure they're going to be focusing mostly on the situation going down in the first game. Or given that now they're going to be going with a more personal approach, it might even be more about the collapse of Rapture prior to the first game. So this might even be a prequel. We don't know anything about the story for sure, so that's just speculation on my part. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. What about you guys?
Oh, well, if they do Rapture, that would be automatically very disappointing because if you haven't done the game, Rapture is an undersea city. And in the game, it's very bare, right? Like you really came after the apocalypse. So it's big, empty holes, very dark. You're under the sea, and there are lots of hundreds of thousands of meters. So there's nothing to see in Rapture. Before the apocalypse, I'm sure it would have been a great city. But during the event of Bioshock, in terms of decor, right? This not interesting. It would be much more fun if they do Colombia, right? The city of Infinite, which is a flying city, a bit steampunk, which require a lot of money because it's steampunk back in the 50s. So you could reuse some already done village like they used in the Marvel, right, with Scarlet Witch, which was already a bit like in the 50s. These kind of things, but with a bit more special effects showing that it's up in the air or something like this. But that would require a lot of money for that. So honestly, I honestly think that's not a good news because you need special effects for this kind of project. So disappointed with this, and Horizon and Warhammer, everything is falling down like dominoes right now.
Budget cuts.
Yeah.
Not for me, just because, I don't know, I fell out of love with movies, I don't know how many years ago. I just, because I love binge watching TV shows and I love things that continue. I don't like watching a movie and having to wait 3 years for another one. So I have a list of movies. I think the only time I watch movies is on the plane now. So that is it. Otherwise, like, I have a list of movies on my Google Keep notes and I'm like, okay, I'll watch these movies someday. And the day has never come, probably in the last 7 years, just because I can't stand it. I'm watching the anime Fairy Tail right now just because there's like 4 seasons of it. And I love that I can just watch it. And then eventually I'm done and I'll find the next series that has like 5 years of stuff that I haven't watched, and that's it. So my worry about Bioshock would be a reduced budget seems like the next step, or the step before being canceled. And given how companies are really focusing on budgets and cost and that sort of stuff, and a company like WB, right, spent $130 million developing Batwoman and then canceled it, right? They took a $130 million hit. I mean, there's a lot about where the industry is going, and I think Adam has another interesting story tying into this a bit later, and we'll talk about that. But Antoine, what is happening? I can't believe you played Fabledom. That's on my wish list.
I did, and I wanted to talk about it because, okay, I'm not gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna straight to it. It was a bit disappointing. So let's clean house first. Fabledom is a laid-back city builder in a fantasy settings. It has been developed by Grena Games and published by Dear Villagers and Doyoyo Games. Available on all platforms and free on PC Game Pass, and released on Steam on May 2024 for, I forgot to put the price, but it's less than 30, like $27 or $28 Canadian. And I really wanted to play it because on the French YouTube, there's a lot of YouTubers playing right now. It's with a commercial collaboration, so I guess they are paid to play the game, and it looks cute and really laid back, relaxing. So I thought, hey, why not? I love management. I love sim games, city builders. Also, it has some great marks. I saw like Steam has a 9 out of 10 marks, which is fantastic, right? So I thought, you know what? I'm going to get it. It's half the price of a big game, so why not? So now I'm going to go into what I didn't like, right? So it's very laid back because it's very easy in normal mode. It's not possible to lose, right? And that's one of the issues. The only roadblocks to your expansion will be the placement. You only imagine Anno 1800, but with a lot of water into it, like very, very watered down. So you only have 3 types of people who live in your town. And the third type is not even a type that you can manage. So it's really just peasants and commoners. So one of the first roadblocks you will have would be you never have enough people at the beginning to run your industry. But even it's a minor annoyance more than a real roadblocks to your expansion. And second, the lack of workers in the early game is annoying because you have a hard time to get food and coal which consume a lot of wood, and that can be a bit hard in the winter. But once you pass the first maybe 2 or 3 winter hurdle of food and coal, then there's no more challenge. It's finished, right? I bought this game maybe after last week's show, so something like Wednesday or Thursday. I played 3 days and I was already going. Or I did the whole game. Everything as a game had to offer, I already finished it. It's very short. So you have what you have in it, like you have a mini game, for instance, of getting an army to destroy enemies. The enemy only appear when you place a specific mine that appears in the mid game, and the trolls which come out from these camps will never attack you. They will stay happily on the corner of the map. The only influence they're gonna have is -5 happiness per troll camp, and my happiness has never been under 85 the whole game, even with troll camps. Honestly useless. The only thing you need to have to destroy any kind of threat, including the arenas, you have an arena where you can spawn 7 waves of opponents. You just need to put a little square of wall, put a little tower. It doesn't matter if it's wood or stone. That's purely aesthetic. Put a few ballistas, put a few cannons, put a few mortars. That's the only 3 things you can put on top of walls. And as long as you have enough prismatic liquid, which is used as bullet, then there's absolutely nothing which can threaten you. In the kind of things which can annoy you from time to time, you have either a dragon or witches, and that's the only 2 things which can annoy you, so that's very little. They come, and same as a troll, they give you a debuff. Like the witches make you eat more, I think. And the dragon, I think it's eat affective happiness. Again, it's a debuff, but oh my god, there's a dragon over our head. Who cares? And there's 2 ways to get rid of them, which is giving them money, a very little money. So the dragon come, straight away you have a mission. What do we do about the dragon? Do we shoot it with ballistas or do we give him money? 500 coins, I have 20,000. Here's your due. Shoo, go away. So absolutely useless in normal difficulty. Maybe it's more interesting in harder difficulty, but I already lost my interest for this. You have a bit of a very basic international diplomacy, because when you start the game, you select a nation, and the difference between the nations are either do you want a big or small or medium ocean? Do you want more prairies or do you want more hills? So it honestly doesn't affect much, whatever you choose. Better to use a big map because you can extend on a wider territory. I guess that's it. Maybe on a map with a small land that would be more difficult to expand, of course, because your commoners and your peasants cannot live together because, commoners can't bear the stink of the peasants. That's exactly how it is. So you have a little marker, which shows you where can you put your peasants, where can you put your commoners, and where can you put your industry. Because, of course, like in Anno, if people don't like to live next to an industry, like in any, like SimCity or any game, right? You don't want to live next to a coal factory, which is logic. But that's really not a problem. Absolutely not. So this international diplomacy gives you 3 things. First of all, you need to build an embassy which arrives quite late, medium late game. And this will give you 2 things, which is trading and training and missions. Missions are just used to get more resources, and trading is basically just because to marry one of the characters, right? One of the leaders of the other kingdoms, you need 500 bread, 500 blah blah blah, which is always a bit hard to get because winter comes and deplete your resources. So trading is just a way to go faster with these goals. So again, this diplomacy, romance stuff, not interesting. The romance does bring one thing which is nice. It brings unique buildings. So one of the lady give you a unique harvest building, which you can use to increase the percentage of, like gathering resource in your fields or things like this. So that's good. But because with this, there's lots of cons, not a lot of pros. There's no replayability. I'm very sorry for the guys who did this game, right? It's really, I don't want to say lazy or for respect for the developers, but it's extremely generic. It's extremely, extremely generic. I don't see why this mark is so high. For me, it's at best a 6 out of 10 on Fabledom, especially when you compare with similar games like I played Airborne Kingdom a few months ago, which is the same city builder, very laid back, no stress, and has infinitely much better ideas. An actual challenge without being too challenging, right? No. Unfortunately, for me, Fabledom is a no. I would say if you have a PC Game Pass, go on Airborne Kingdom, which is completely unknown and much better. You will have much more fun on this. And, well, that's it for me. So very sorry, Fabledom, but that's a miss for me.
Oh my God, I can't disagree with you more.
I haven't played
I know,
it.
I mean, but I understand. Like games like that are not meant for people like you or Adam. You're too smart, I guess.
No, it's just boring.
No, because you're expecting more. You can't turn off the wheels and the cogs in your brain and just play it. Like it's no. I've known you guys for a long time, and it's like I played something very similar to Fabledom. You can't lose. On my MacBook just before I started getting back into my PC gaming, and it's fun to not. Well, it's not even fun. It's very relaxing. It's very zen-like. And going back to the Airborne Kingdom point, Airborne Kingdom is not easy. Like it's not easy. And again, I'm like, who? I'm coming back to the point. I don't think normal middle-aged gamers. Again, I apologize. Do not replay games. We have too many games to play. I'm even convinced, right, within the next 2 years, before 2020, or 1 year, before the end of 2025, Adam will never replay a game ever again. He'll play every single game once, and that will be it. I am very sure. I will take a bet right now. I know Adam's disagreeing with me, but I'm seeing the backlog expand and expand and expand. But no, I saw the Fabledom score. It's still on my wish list, and I'm definitely going to play it. But and again, I totally understand your point of view, but okay. I think this is a game meant for a certain kind of people, and it's for people like me.
Just to confirm, when I talk about replayability, I'm not talking about from A to Z, right? I'm really talking about, in this city builders game, it's very often like Manor Lords, right? That you start a city, and you realize with the upcoming mechanics, Jesus, I shouldn't have created my city like this. I should have done it another way. And then you scrap because you played only 2 or 3 hours, you scrap it to replay. And it happens a lot, right? On this specific type of game. I'm not saying I finish the game when I restart with a new territory. Absolutely not. And another thing is that this game is extremely slow. That's a problem in the settings. I don't know, but I always played, like you have normal, fast, super fast. And not once in the game I did the less than super fast. Because your people move so slow, you could just at the end, and I'm not kidding, right? Once all the hurdles are gone, I have lots of money, a lot of food, like my people are happy, and I nearly built all over the island. The only thing you have to do is just look at your village live. And that's it, because you don't have anything to do. So you're just looking at it and you're looking at your screen. You're not playing it, you're just looking. When I say it's boring, it's because in Airborne Kingdom, at least there's some gameplay ideas. Yes, it's in the sky, and if you build a bit like this and you tilt a bit like this, and then people are, of course, less happy because, if they fall, that's quite far down. That it's not much, right? It's just that it makes you think maybe I should place my buildings in a certain way. Here, there's no punition at all. You do whatever you want, wherever you want, and I'm sure that if I put my commoners next to a coal factory, then the only impact I would have is that, oh yes, they are less happy by 10 points. Who cares? On top of this, like you can build huge decorations. There's lots of decorations, and decoration increase the desirability of living in a certain area. And there's some industry which are quite polluting and people don't like, but because the pool of prismatic was a certain way, I had to build around it. And in the end, even my nobles were very happy and there was no problem with it. So again, no challenge. And the fact there's no challenge is one thing. It's fine, you like laid back. But the fact there's no gameplay idea. It's all seen and done. There's nothing which tells you, that's a very good idea, actually. I'd never seen that somewhere else. No. In Fabledom, everything has been seen. I didn't even talk about the hero. You have a hero in there. And on the map, when you buy the area of the map, you have sometimes some interactions, right? I'm going to interact with Lord of the Ring like an ant. And you have two choices. Do I cut it down or do I give him some resource, and then you have your woods grow 20% faster, and you have 6 or 7 such interaction in the whole map. It's bare bone. It's very, very bare bone. And I'm not even talking about the bugs. If you put your fish harbor too close to the edge, then your little fablings are going to go on the boat and they're going to stuck themselves to death. They're going to starve to death in their boat because they can't move. But, I mean, that's okay, but still. Noble Copper, I know I'm not selling the game and I'm sorry for them. But that's just not interesting. And remember, it's not a $10 or $15 game. It's a $30 game. For $30, I say no, that's too expensive for that. That's really too expensive for that. Half price at best. Half price, I would have said yes, it's only $50 games. Then I can expect a bare bone game with not a lot of very good gameplay idea. Here it's a $30, it's half the price of a AAA game. I expect more. And this just doesn't deliver. Sorry.
No worries at all. We can all have our cake and eat it too. All right, on that very interesting note, I have some things. So middle-aged gamers, people who work from home or people who are just looking for new stuff. Today I'm going to talk about gaming accessories under $30. And again, they could be a lot cheaper. They might just be over $30. It depends on your region. Depends on the time that you're buying these from Amazon. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the universal cell phone clip holder. If I could show you mine, I would show you at the moment, but if I take it out, it's very hard to put on because it is very securely clamped. But yeah, no, these things absolutely super useful. If you don't have a cell phone holder right next to you, it is a must-have, just because there are so many times when I'm working or might be editing a video or doing something on LinkedIn or X for work, and I might miss a Slack message. I might miss a Slack call because I've muted Slack on my computer, and then it'll pop up on my phone. So very useful there. When I was playing Zenless Zone Zero, right, I didn't want to install it on my PC, so I played it on my cell phone. And I played it here, and I just turned the screen into landscape mode. And here I was playing with my controller, playing Zenless Zone Zero, which is also good. So if you're into mobile gaming as well, this is another solution. So you don't have to hold your phone and game. Or it can be like, oh, okay, I'm going to play some games while there's a boring meeting going on. And I could literally doing that while I'm here at work, which is something I've never done. I will say that much. But it's definitely an awesome secure accessory. It's very much similar to, you can kind of see Antoine's mic mount that he has in the screen if you're watching the live stream or the YouTube video later. It's very much similar. There's a bunch of different variations. You can decide what goes with your individual setup. You can get that like very bare bones. black sort of metallic form, like the one that's in the Amazon link that I sent to Adam. There's also one that I have, which is just plastic, which is also metal inside, just covered with some plastic sheeting to make it look a little bit nicer. The second thing I want to talk about is a desk pad, and I've talked about these before, but I thought like all you Rick and Morty fans might like the one that I suggested. Again, I've talked about desk pads before. I never understood them. I had a mouse pad for a very long time, and that was it. I'm like, yep, I just need a mouse pad. I had a bare bones, wooden desk or metallic desk or something like that, and it was okay. But man, desk pads are awesome. They are perfect. The unfortunate thing is I spend a lot of time eating and working here. My desk pads last like no longer than a year. I might need to get something a bit more premium. Maybe it'll last because they get like super dirty. So I bought something from IKEA for $20 before, and this was wonderful. And it's already dirty, probably like 6 months later, which kind of sucks. But a desk pad just sort of brings the aesthetic of your setup together. It's also nice because it feels better than putting your arms or your wrists on a wooden desk. You put everything on there. There are ways as well. Like I know people will like take their desk pad and put it into your laundry machine and then give it a wash and then dry it out, and that could work. I'm just too lazy to do that. Maybe if I get a second desk pad, I'll give it a try. But even this IKEA desk pad is sort of like breaking. But it's definitely something that I'd recommend for people, just because, especially if you are a bigger person and you need a bigger mouse area, it's essential. I'll never have another desktop PC set up without a large desk pad before. Like this is at least almost 2 meters long and about 60 centimeters wide. And the last thing I want to talk about is a good screwdriver set, because as much as I dislike building computers these days, I still need to sort of change things now and then, open up my case, put in some new RAM, take out some new RAM, open up and just clean it out, because it is super dusty here in Taiwan. And we had a typhoon last week that blew in a lot of stuff, dirt and dust and things all over the place. So this screw set is pretty good. It has the grounding cable that I think most people don't really need a grounding cable anymore. What you do need is a large variety of screws. You do need the small brushes, because there are things that compressed air is good and fine, but it just kind of just blows things out of the way. You might want to use like a tiny little brush to brush things off. But yeah, those are the 3 gadgets. I would highly suggest to get the cell phone holder, get the desk set, especially if you're an older middle-aged gamer and you don't have dedicated screwdrivers or screwdriver set to sort of deal with your PC. And the desk pad is sort of like the last option that sort of brings your setup together. And then you can go with something which is extremely like colorful, like one on Amazon. You can go something minimal from IKEA. It doesn't have to be from the link, but a desk pad is a must. And if you think of any other accessories that are left out, there's one thing I'm looking for that I couldn't find it. That I'll probably do another video. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I haven't talked about. And of course, what you can do on the computer, from the I was going to say, that was the thing I was saying. I think people don't need it anymore. Really? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no. I remember back in the day, like I've never used that ever. And I could just be luck, but I haven't seen builders. But it could be. It's always good to be safe at the end of the day. Yeah, just in case. Adam, what is your last story for today?
Hang on. I'm getting a note from Noble Cooper saying that our stream is robotic, but it looks here fine to me. Hang on, let me check the sound. I don't know. It sounds fine. Sounds fine too. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. He's replying on Twitch, and I am also watching on Twitch, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, it's looking fine here in Taiwan. So I don't know. Maybe we're, as my friends say, you're in Asia, you're closer to the internet. So maybe that's why. Yeah. They're like, oh, of course you have internet speeds. You're in Asia, you're closer to the internet, because that's how it works. But where was I? Yes. So SAG-AFTRA, am I saying that right? They are going on strike again, specifically the voice actors and motion capture artists. And the reason is because of AI. So what's happening is they're not asking for more money. They're not asking for, different working conditions. The only thing that they're asking is that these companies add into their contracts something that says, if I am recording something, you do not use my voice or my face to train AI without my consent or compensation. That's basically all they're saying. They're saying, if you want to use my voice to train AI, put that in the contract. Tell me that's what you're going to be doing with it, and then compensate me for it. If I agree to that contract, fine. But don't, say like, okay, we're going to have you come in for, I don't know, Cyberpunk Orion or whatever, and then we're going to, take that data and we're going to, train AI on it. I specifically mentioned Cyberpunk Orion because if you've played the original Cyberpunk, the voice actor who played Victor, the Ripper Doc that at the beginning of the game, unfortunately passed away before Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty came out. And so what happened was CD Projekt Red approached the family and they said, hey, we're doing this expansion. We want him to be in it, but obviously we can't get him to do it. We could recast the role, but what we would like to do is we would like to take somebody else saying the lines, but use AI to augment that voice so it sounds more like the original voice actor. Do we have permission to do that specifically only for this expansion? And the family gave them permission to do that. And so that's what they ended up doing. Now that's a very specific case. And again, it was purely for this one project, and they had very strict, this is the only thing we're going to use it for. We're not going to be using it in the future. We're not going to be using it to train AI. We're just doing it to complete this one project. And that's the kind of thing that I think they're striking over, is they're saying, like, we want something in the contract that says very specifically that, this is not going to be used for training AI in the future. Noble Cooper is asking if it came out okay, and it came out sounding great. I mean, if you hadn't told me that that's what they had done, I would have thought that I didn't know that the guy had passed away. I would have thought it was the original voice actor just, doing new lines. So it did come out very well. It was, again, a slightly special case because it wasn't so much that they were having the AI completely read the lines. They were having a regular person, another voice actor, read the lines, and then they were having AI augment that voice to be more in line with the original voice actor. They probably found somebody who was fairly close anyway. So it did come out pretty well. But so that's what they're looking for. And one other thing, though, is that if any projects that are currently in production, so some people are worried about things like, Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now, that's probably already been recorded. They're pretty far into production, so something like that is probably not going to be affected. Live service games like Apex or Valorant, where they call people back in on occasion to do that, to do voice acting things. Those live service games should not be impacted. Games that already have contracts signed, some of those will not be impacted. And then other people are worried about, the specific one was GTA 6, and GTA 6 apparently has a contract that's already been approved, so it should not impact that game. So, obviously with a strike, the last strike we had was in 2016 or 2017, and that went on for over a year. So, obviously if they're going on strike, people are going to be worried, are we going to be looking at delays here? Is that a possibility? We're starting to get back into the swing of things after COVID, right? Delays, and now we're starting to get, okay, we're still getting a few, but not like we were. But something like this could definitely set back a lot of projects. But not everything's going to be affected, and hopefully it will be resolved soon. And then to kind of add to that, on the GTA front, GTA Online recently released a pizza delivery activity mission. So if you want to deliver pizzas, I have my old Pizza Hut shirt from when I delivered pizzas for Pizza Hut upstairs. I didn't bring it down. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't fit me anymore. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I haven't seen a lot about it. I actually only saw it on Chinese Twitter. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, and then I looked it up online. And it's like, oh yeah, it is a thing. I wonder why I haven't seen it anywhere else. But there's also that. So if you want to deliver pizzas in GTA Online, go ahead and do that, and you can unlock some stuff. But yeah, main story. SAG-AFTRA wants in contracts that their voices cannot be used to train AI without their consent. And that's that.
What do you guys think?
For me, I mean, I think it's fair. I think video games are in a very unique space compared to like movies or certain video games, because something like, say, Apex or Valorant or, you know, these live service games, you call the people in, they record some lines. That sounds perfectly fair to me. You do a movie or a TV show, you know, you call the person in, you do the lines. That sounds very fair. But I know in some games like Cyberpunk or, you know, Dragon Age, or one of the dreams of gaming is to be able to fully immerse yourself in these worlds, right? And then so the idea is, you know, people want something like a ChatGPT kind of idea where I can, you know, one of the goals is to have it where I could use my microphone, and instead of, you know, selecting from prompt, I could actually speak to the character and the character could react. I mean, you know, if you look at like really, really old text-based games or certain text games, like the old Ultimas, you could walk in and you had, I think, like a drop-down menu of what you could select, but there was another one where you could enter your own things. So you could say, like, you could type in like join party and the character may join party, or you could say like the name of a location and the character might point you in the right direction. You know, they had very simple text-based prompts, but, you know, you were able to kind of ask it whatever you wanted, and sometimes it might say, I don't know. But yeah, no, that's always been kind of the dream, is to play a game like Skyrim or something like that. Like the person did the mod in Skyrim with ChatGPT, right? Where people could add in things. But, you know, that's part of the goal. Is I walk in to a village and I'm looking for a dragon, and, you know, I talk to the first guy and none of the options are where's the dragon. Okay, fine. Walk to the next guy. None of the options are where's the dragon. Walk to the next guy. Oh, he's got an option. Oh, fantastic. But, you know, one of the dreams is I could just walk up to anybody and just speak into the mic and say, I'm looking for the dragon. Do you know where it is? And then, you know, they could say like, I'm sorry, I have not seen the dragon. Or, you know, like, last I heard, the dragon was up on yonder mountain. You know, something like that. So, I mean, in that sense, to be able to do that, you would need AI. You can't have a guy in a studio listening to 1,000 players and responding to them each in turn. You know, so I understand the concerns. I think video games are kind of a unique case. If I was to say, I don't know if they would accept it or not, I would say probably the solution would be like in a contract saying like, okay, we're going to use your voice to maybe train the AI, but only for this game. We can't use it on any other projects. We can only use it for this one project. If we want to use it on another project, we're gonna have to rehire you and retrain a different model, you know, so then that way they're being paid on a game by game basis. I think that would be the closest way to being fair about it. Yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, that's fair, because, you know, it's the same with all the new technologies. There's no legal framework or background. So they're just trying to ensure that I'm not going to lose that job tomorrow simply because an AI can do what I do. How long is it going to hold for? Because technology is evolving, you know, very fast, and maybe an AI can generate I don't know what AI can do, but it's good. Let's say that in the short term vision, it's good to have it on the contract. That I agree. After, you know, it's if an AI can start reading lines with your voice or Korean's voice, or they don't need professional actor anymore, right? Anyone would do. So I don't know how, in the long term, I don't know how it's going to secure that job. So we'll see. But in the short term, that's a need, and I really understand why they would be afraid not to have this on contract.
It kind of also makes me wonder about things like, you guys know Hatsune Miku, right? The Vocaloid. I mean, that's an AI that can talk. I mean, you just type in whatever you want and it can spit something back out. How did they train that? You know, I mean, and that already exists and it can be used, and it is used quite often. I mean, she's getting a new TV show, I think, soon. But yeah, the Vocaloids, they are this technology in a way. So I'm kind of curious as to how that occurred. Like, was there kind of a CD thing going on there, or were they just kind of training it off of sound samples, you know, where they're looking at sound waves or something? I don't know, but yeah, I'm with Antoine. I mean, there is going to be a point where they're not going to need human voices to train it. You know, they're just going to be like, okay, how do let's look at the sound wave, you know, of this, and then let's simulate synthetic voices that sound human, but it's specifically not anybody. Kind of like, do you guys remember that web page, This Person Does Not Exist? And it would just create photos of people that aren't real. Yeah, it was just a web page, and it was called This Person Does Not Exist. And it was just a web page of just AI would just generate pictures of people. And so you would go on and you would look at it and you're like, oh, okay, but that person is not a real person. It was just somebody that the AI, you know, pieced together. So yeah, eventually we're going to be able to get to synthetic voices. And so yeah, I'm with Antoine. They're looking out for their future, but I wonder how long they have, because it is one of those things where it's moving in a direction and it's going to be real hard to stop it from continuing in that direction.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, I think yesterday I was, working at night as I usually do, and I was listening to, you know, YouTube has these like people put up these long playlists of like 3-4 hours, and this was a first YouTube channel I've seen with AI generated music. It was AI generated swing jazz from the 1940s, and it was freaking amazing. 2 hours and 50 minutes, and it was like, I find the problem with some jazz, sometimes it's like either too slow or it's got too many like harsh sounds. And this was just literally perfect, and it was all fake, and with vocals as well, like very similar to good old like Peggy Lee and Ella Fitzgerald, or and it was amazing. Honestly, like I honestly would prefer to listen to that to many of the old jazz songs, and even like that as a genre is like there's not that many good jazz bands or swing bands anymore. So it's going to be an interesting future. On futures and the Olympics, Antoine, what has happened in the Olympics with Mario and Sonic?
All right. So first of all, I hope you are really enjoying the Paris 2024 Olympics, right? It started a few days ago, and it's pretty good up till now. I know that the guys are not necessarily watching, but if you are watching, go team, whoever you support. And yes, in the spirit of Olympics, we're gonna talk about Sonic and Mario at the Olympics, which is a series. I couldn't find the exact number of games because I don't know how many they did. They started in 2008 with Beijing Summer Games. I know they did Vancouver 2010. They did London 12, Rio 16. They did Tokyo 24. Or 2020, sorry, and 2024 Paris will unfortunately not happen. So it was reported by Comic Book in the interview with Eurogamer, and they confirmed that it's unfortunately the end for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. It's not Sega finishing the deal. It's coming from the International Olympic Committees themselves, right? So they were in some kind of a deal where the IOC would give their name or actually give their approval to this series of game. But it hasn't been officially announced, right, the cancellation. But basically everybody, we understand that they decided to go in a different direction, which we're going to talk in a minute. And because of this, the series is going to end up with the Winter Olympics Beijing 2022. That was the last Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. So unfortunately, if you really like this game, well, that's finished. And why is it finished? Because the IOC, so the Olympic, what is it called? the International Olympics Committee, yeah. So the IOC decided to go with this one make me smile a bit, but they want to chase the like of NFTs and esports. And esport-wise, they already have an event planned in 2025 in Saudi Arabia. You will have the first Olympic esports over there. And the decision to do that because, of course, esports is considerably climbing, especially thanks to Twitch and everything, and they want to engage a younger audience. I don't know the view on TV of the Olympics. I know that when I was a kid, Olympics was the big thing and everybody was watching this on TV. Right now, my kids couldn't care less about Olympics, and I don't know if many people are watching it anymore, so maybe that's why they decided to re-engage the younger audiences through esports. And the rumors say that some of the games which are going to play out at this event in 2025 are very well-known esports games such as League of Legends, Street Fighter, and Rocket League. So they're really playing it safe. At this time, all of this is rumors as to what will be in the event, because it's great, but it's not really Olympic related, right? Rocket League would be, yeah, Rocket League a bit, soccer and everything, but League of Legends, no, not so much. So, sorry, yeah, for this bad news for Sonic and Mario. Great news for the esports scene, I would say. But at this stage, not much has filtered on how it's gonna happen. And yeah, that's it. So in the future, you can expect more Olympic esports. And if it crashes and burns, who knows, maybe they'll go back to Sega and say, can we have a Paris 2024 Mario and Sonic games? Very unlikely to happen, but who knows, maybe for the Los Angeles, I think, 2028, maybe they would come back. At this time, it's unsure, and it's likely not to. But yeah, that's where we are on this front. So poor Sonic is losing one of the only game where he was still appearing.
Yeah, the Olympics is interesting. I don't know if Adam's thought about this, but like I think we are of the generation where our parents were like, the Olympics is this big world thing. We should watch it. I was the same way when I was a kid, Antoine, as well. I don't watch any sports anymore, let alone the Olympics. I miss baseball a lot. I miss cricket. I miss rugby. But unfortunately, it never makes it high up the list to like, I should spend my precious TV time to watch sports, which it doesn't matter anymore. And I feel like here in Taiwan, I can't think of a kids or even parents like our age, like, I mean, your age and our age, like parents who watch the Olympics or kids who have watched the Olympics or kids who are like, I watched the shot put or the swimming or something there. It's I don't know, maybe in Asia, it's not a huge thing. Even when I lived in Korea, I can think of nobody who watched the Olympics or who talked about that sort of stuff. Like people love basketball here, of course. Basketball, I think, is like the biggest sport that you see everywhere in Taiwan. But then again, like some people watch the NBA, but the NBA is not a big thing. Even like the Taiwanese NBA is not a big thing. I don't know. It's a strange thing, but I'm excited. I did see that announcement about esports. I still hope, like we saw the story this week that Amazon is still losing money on Twitch, right? Which it just goes to the fact like there needs to be some sort of healthy ecosystem around streaming and Twitch and Kick, and I think Kick is not even a thing anymore. So like how do the providers of this make money? How do the streamers like Adam make money? And what's the future of all of that? I think there needs to be some sort of, I think Antoine mentioned this before, like on one of the episodes where we had like a Netflix sort of model where you have to pay per month to watch Twitch. I think that's the only way where you have like some regular revenue. And I can imagine some people paying, but I don't know.
And on that point, I don't know if you know the very famous and controversial streamer Lady Amurant. Apparently,
yeah.
she bought herself an e-sport team. I saw that while looking at this news. So Twitch will be very happy that the money they gave to Amouranth will go to an e-sport team.
Yeah, I haven't.
Very cool. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I haven't watched the Olympics in a long time. I know all my students are aware of it. They keep coming in and they're like, "Oh, we lost at ping pong," but I mean it's always Taiwan related, or should I say Chinese Taipei related. But yeah, and then every time I walk into 7-Eleven, it's always on in the background, and it's always a Taiwanese person competing. So I don't know if they just are zipping around to specifically only when Taiwanese people are on, or if they're actually recording it, just playing on infinite loop only the few times Taiwanese people participate. But yeah, every 7-Eleven has it playing here. But yeah, I do feel like it's become very much background. It like people are like, oh yeah, it's a thing, it's going on, but nobody's like actively watching it. It's just kind of playing in the background. So everyone's kind of aware of what's going on, but nobody's like actively focused on it. So,
side question on this: did you guys ever play the Mario or Sonic at the Olympic Games, or did you know someone? Because I saw, while sifting through the news, that was a very beloved franchise. Lots of people. I can't tell you one person who ever played this game. I've never seen this game, so that's why I was a bit wondering, is it really beloved? Did I completely miss it all the time?
I've never I don't know anybody personally who's played it. I've seen people talk about it in forums, but if dead internet theory is true, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I've seen people talk about it online, but yeah, I've never actually met somebody who's played it, and I've never played it myself.
Try to guess in a true middle-aged gaming fashion, what is the last kind of Olympic game type game that I played? And the gameplay was like this.
Mario Party?
Track and field.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
that's all, isn't it?
I loved that back in the day. That was like, I think it was someone else's console I was playing on, but that was like my first introduction to Olympic sports.
Yeah, I played one game that I want to say it was Nintendo themed, but I think it was before when Sega was still a console. But yeah, I don't remember. But it wasn't at the Olympics. It was, I think it's just like a track and field type of thing, but it wasn't that game. But yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, no, same thing with Adam. Like, I was aware of the franchise, but I've never met anyone who played it. Not like I know that many Switch gamers anyway. But yeah. All right. I think we can skip my last story and go straight into the questions, because I also want to do an extra short video before we end today. So Antoine, what question are you answering for me today?
Adam first, because I chose last week and I saw your two questions. I can't remember them right now, but I have a game for both. Just need to find.
All right, so Adam, you get first pick today. What do you want to answer?
I'll go with the what's a game that haunts you to this day for purchasing it and not liking it? I have two.
Last week,
yeah, okay,
you were over 1 minute, which made it very difficult.
Sorry. Well, I'll try to keep it quick.
60 seconds or less.
All right. So for me, unfortunately, I hate to admit this, but Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, I never got to play it on PSP, so I did play the remake version or the remastered version of it. But yeah, I don't know. For me, the biggest problem was, the gameplay was fine. But yeah, it just felt like they changed so much from the original game, and they just added all these things that just felt like they were adding plot holes rather than expanding the world. I don't know. I know a lot of people love it. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for it. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it that much.
Thank you very much. All right, Antoine, which one are you doing?
Oh, it's too small. No, sorry. What's a game you love from a genre you don't typically like? Very easy. One of the top 3 games that I've played in the past decade, The Last of Us. I love zombie movies. I hate zombie and horror games because zombies themselves are quite slow, so it's usually jump scare. I hate jump scare. I hate horror games. And strangely, Last of Us, I loved it so much. I played it on easy difficulty or something at first, and I loved it so much that's the only game I platinated anyway since ever. So Last of Us would be the answer of the question.
All right, next segment. Because I have no idea where I put your other like end screen videos, give me a 10-second end screen, or maybe not 10, maybe up to a minute end screen, right? So the usual like, thank you for watching this video, whatever you want to do. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. And then give me something, then I'm gonna cut those, and then that'll be the thing I upload this individual segment. It'll be over your left shoulder. So as you're facing towards me, your left shoulder. So where your statue is, Antoine, and where Adam's Woody is. Okay. You guys okay to go?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So,
we'll go Adam first, and then you, Antoine.
All right.
Okay. All right, Adam, give me your best intro end screen for somebody to want to keep watching our videos or check out other videos. You can plug a video. Maybe we can change these every 2 to 3 months or so. Okay, Adam, 3, 2, 1, action.
And if you enjoyed that, we obviously have a lot of other great content over here, so feel free to check it out, and we'll see you again soon.
What to say? Magnifique? Okay.
I think I had that thing in my front of my face, but that's fine.
It's over there, right?
Yes, it's over there. Okay, Antoine, 3, 2, 1, action.
So thanks for watching this video. If you liked our content, please subscribe, share, click on the bell, and look at our next video just there.
Nice. All right, yeah, that's it, guys. Any final thoughts for today before we end off the live stream while everyone watched us record videos?
I know, right? Yeah, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. Been kind of a slow week.
Any final thoughts? What's next after Fabledom?
I don't know. I think I was looking at the top Warhammer 40k games because I finished another book and I'm really into it right now. And there's some games that I never played, like the Gothic 2. And I read that it was a pretty good game, but with some mods it becomes an excellent game. So I wishlisted it and I'm waiting for it to go down. There's a Rock Trader as well, which looks very good. I'm not sure. Again, I wishlisted. I'm waiting on the next sale to buy them. So I think I'm just going to find some free games on the PC Game Store. I have no clue what to play, to be very honest with you. I'm still on the disappointment of the Fabledom. So I'll see. I saw that there was the Command & Conquer Red Alert coming out on, it's like a remastered version on the PC Game Pass with the EA subscription, which is included with it. So I was like, that sounds like memories, a good old RTS. Why not? So maybe that's not sure yet.
Adam, what about you? You were going to say something?
No, I was just combing my hair. But I mean, like, as far as games, I'll probably stick with Zenless Zone Zero for now, because what I'm really playing is Final Fantasy 14. That's 7. Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail. I'm about, I don't know, maybe a third of the way through, a little between a third and a half, 2/5. We'll call it 2/5 of the way through. So I still got a ways to go in that. And yeah, I'll probably, and so I need something to stream because I don't know if I should be streaming that or not. I don't know. But so I'll probably continue streaming Zenless Zone Zero at least until Chapter 3 is complete. And then after that, I'll probably be into Halloween. So then I'll probably start my Halloween streams because I don't think there's going to be enough time between when I finish Dawn Trail and Halloween in October to play Persona 5 Strikers. There's just not enough time. Although I don't know, recently I've been having a real craving to play Simcopter. So I don't know, maybe I'll have to find a way to get that working on a Windows 11 system, because that is an old game. But I don't know, I've just really been craving Simcopter lately.
You have to buy it on GOG because they put in the time to make old games.
Is it on GOG?
Windows, so It might be, I'm not sure, but I know you want to play old games and you don't want to go through the process of getting things figured out on your own. GOG is a solution for lazy people like me.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Looks like it is.
Okay. And on that old game note, let us know if you want to see Adam play some Copter. Thank you as always for tuning in. Thank you as always for accepting that sometimes we are tired for various reasons today. And thank you guys for supporting us on Instagram and stuff. There's content being a little bit all over the place. I didn't really think about how to do 7 days of Stellar Blade shorts and all our videos as well at the same time. It might have been a bit clogged up in certain places. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. As well as we appreciate you guys for checking out our videos and supporting them and commenting. And if I've left out a comment, please let us know on YouTube. Like sometimes I might miss comments on Instagram, but YouTube is definitely the place that I make sure to answer them. And as always, thank you very much. And Adam, are we seeing you next week, Wednesday?
No, I will not be here next week. I'll be here next week.
Okay. Then next week, stay tuned for 3 stories from Antoine and myself. And we'll see you guys next week. And then look forward to seeing Adam in about 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
Okay, take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.